Hi, my name is Vivian. I am 17 years old. I am by blood Chinese, however I was raised in a Vietnamese culture. I am getting my qualifications to be a parkour instructor this year, and I happen to be bisexual. I play the ukulele and the trumpet and the harmonica and the piano, so I am quite involved with music. A typical weekend for myself is Wednesday night training for about 3 hours in the city, just running around. Saturday, I have this tradition where I bake with my best friend. We just bake Oreos stuffed cookies and so forth. And on a Sunday, I do 5 hours of training for parkour. What it's like to be bisexual for me is not worrying about who I want to like and so forth. It's just meeting a person and being able to say, you're really nice to me and I like you. That's what being bisexual means to me. I feel as though I didn't really have to come to terms to being a bisexual. I've always grown up in a fantastic environment and atmosphere where it was supported to be yourself no matter who you are. And my parents, they're always like, the most important thing is that don't do things that make me happy, do things that make you happy. If I had a girlfriend, my friends would definitely know. My friends respect me for who I am. And it wouldn't really change if it was a boyfriend instead, because it's just who I'm dating. Having such accepting friends really means a lot to me, because that means I'm surrounding myself with really lovely people who accept me and don't really mind what gender I'm dating. During the time I was questioning my sexuality, I kind of felt really confused, because being at a Catholic school, I know that homosexuality was a massive deal, and I didn't really kind of want to go through the entire, oh crap, I'm bisexual, please don't hate me kind of situation. But I now know that my school's very supportive of who I am, and I was fortunate enough to not go through bullying about me being a bisexual. A lot of the misconceptions about being bisexual as being greedy or confused, or even a transition point between being straight or gay, is definitely not true. And because these are being thrown out and being said at people all the time, it puts a lot of pressure on kids to come out as bisexual, and it makes it harder for them to come to terms to it. Being bisexual is definitely part of my identity. You know, it's not just a phase, as people say. But being bisexual doesn't really define me. It's just part of who I am. And there are definitely a whole lot of traits that make up my personality. More traditional Chinese, Vietnamese families are very keen on the idea of growing up and meeting either a husband or wife and having children to, you know, have their parents have grandchildren running around. For kids who live in those very traditional families, it's quite a lot of pressure on them and who they want to be. This usually makes it really hard for kids to come out as either lesbian or gay or bisexual. Growing up as a bisexual in a Chinese Vietnamese culture was very different to the stereotypical way. Because my parents were very supportive of me being me and me being happy, it wasn't very strict and traditional as other families may have been. Growing up in my household, my parents have always been very accepting of homosexuals and so forth. Just a general question, Mum, if I was gay, would you still love me? They were always supporting, and they were always saying, you know, of course we love you for who you are, no matter who you are. And because of this, I was very comfortable to come out to them. Growing up, my mum, she is very accepting of me being a bisexual, and our relationship is a very loving one, and I feel very safe to talk to her about anything. The relationship I have with my dad is very similar to my mum. He has always a soft spot for me. He loves me for who I am. So coming out to him, he was very accepting of who I was. My grandfather was quite a distant father to my dad, and my dad really disliked this while he was growing up. So when he raised me, he told himself that he would raise me in exactly the opposite way that his dad raised him. So because of this, he is the loving, warm father that he is today. My relationship with my sister is very loving, and we just play games with each other, so I've never actually had to had the conversation with her. And literally how I came out to my family, we were just eating dinner on the table and my sister goes, "We know you're dating Jerry. We know you're gay. Okay." And then we just kept eating. At the end of the day, it's okay to be who you are, no matter what sexuality you are. And you know, my hopes for the future is that our society, there is no discrimination and there is no, you're right and you're wrong. But it's really up to, what your personality is, and being whatever sexuality you are is only just a small part of who you really are. So thanks for listening to my story. Whether you relate to it directly or not, I hope you've taken something out of it. So be the change you want to see in the world.